I was talking with this guy, and he goes, yeah, I grew up in a Christian home. It was a really bad experience. I'm an engineer. I'm more scientifically minded, and so I'm an atheist. That's why I'm an atheist. Just, bad experience with church, and I'm kind of more a scientifically minded person. Now, this is a common question people have. And the way I think you could summarize a lot of people's views is they would go, ancient people, they didn't understand nature. They didn't understand the way physical laws worked. And so they had these myths about spirits and demons and gods and Zeus throwing lightning bolts. But then gradually we became more rational. We became more scientific. We developed empiricism. We developed the scientific method, inductive reasoning. We don't need those primitive superstitions anymore about a god or a devil or heaven or hell. The only light we need is the light of reason and science. And I want to just say that's an important question. That's an important question, but I also want to share with you some things that I have learned. The origin of science, something that science has discovered, and then a problem within science, or a problem for science. But first thing is the origin of science. So Alfred North Whitehead, he co-authored with Bertrand Russell, one of the most famous atheists of the 20th century, a book called Principia Mathematica, which is considered like the greatest mathematics book ever. He was also a philosopher of science, but he pointed this out. We assume that every occurrence has a definite cause exemplifying general principles. Without this belief, the incredible labors of scientists would be without hope. What is the origin? It must come from the medieval insistence on the irrationality of God. And he points out that although tons of civilizations had amazing technology, there's only one civilization that produced the scientific method. Only one. And that was medieval Europe. That's the only place, although they had great technology, we're not disparaging other people's intelligence here. We're just saying that in these cultures that believed the universe was an illusion, like Hinduism, or believed in lots of gods fighting, like lots of the traditional pagan societies, they didn't come to believe in laws. Why did we come to believe in the laws of nature? Why did we come to believe in the scientific method? Alfred North Whitehead will tell you, men came to believe in the laws of nature because they believed in one lawgiver. The rationality of God was the soil that the scientific method grew from. That's Alfred North Whitehead. All right, next thought. John says that the Logos created the universe. That's what John says in John chapter 1. And that means there's a logic behind the universe. So the next thing I want to show you is what science has discovered. There's lots of things I can show you, but I'm just going to show you this one. I think it's the most potent. It's the fine-tuning of the universe. So we know there's a certain speed of light, right? There's certain precise, delicately, finely tuned physical properties within the laws of physics. There's the gravitational constant. There's the strong and weak nuclear forces. These all have precise values. Just imagine dials, like somebody said, imagine a universe-making machine. In order to make our universe, you have to set all of these dials perfectly precisely, okay? And if you don't set the dial perfectly, the universe can't exist. Planets can't form, galaxies can't form, chemistry can't form. It has to be perfect, all right? The universe doesn't come into existence. These are about the laws of physics. The odds of a universe like ours with delicate physics emerging is 1 in 10 to the 123rd power. All right, that is okay, so this is a percentage, all right? Percentage might be helpful for you. Percentage, this is 0.0 with 123 zeros, 1% chance of our universe emerging. Richard Dawkins, who is the most famous atheist on the planet, said, this argument is strong enough it could make me a deist. Amazing. It's pretty incredible. All right, the final thing I want to show you is a problem for science. So we said the origin of science, something discovered by science. Now we're going to say a problem for science. Now, I'm going to say something, but I am not critiquing science here per se. I'm not critiquing the scientific method. I'm critiquing atheistic science, and I'm not even critiquing all evolution. I'm just critiquing atheistic evolution. But I want to show you this quote by Charles Darwin. Darwin wrote in a letter to a friend, "The horrid doubt always arises whether the convictions of man's mind, which has arisen from the mind of lower animals, are of any value or trustworthy at all. If my brain exists solely for the purpose of passing on my genes, then that completely undermines my ability to assume that my brain is rational." And I know this is, a mind bender, all right? But I'll try to put a finer point on it. I got to be careful here because this one can be like, when you try to bring it down for laymen, sometimes you can mess up the argument a little bit, but I'll do my best here. One way you could do it is this: what part of your body do you use for science? Where do you do science? In my brain. And where did your brain come from? Random mutations. How do you know you can trust your brain? That's the idea. I'll give it to you one more way. So you're having a conversation with somebody who doesn't believe God exists. They believe that we got here through Darwinian natural selection. And they go, "You're a person of faith, and I'm a person of reason. You have belief, but I believe in science." And you go to them and you go, "Well, why do you think so many people around the world have believed in God? Billions of people have believed in a creator. Why do you think that is?" They go, "God is just an illusion that helped our ancestors survive." And you go, "Well, what about beauty? Doesn't the beauty of the world make you believe that there might be an artist behind that beauty?" They go, "Well, no, beauty is an illusion that just helped our ancestors survive." And you go, "Well, what about morality? Don't you believe there's an ultimate morality and that if there's an ultimate morality, there must be a moral lawgiver?" They go, No. Morality is just an illusion that helped our ancestors survive." And then you go, "How do you know that rationality isn't just an illusion that helped our ancestors survive?" So those are a couple things. But how do you share all of this without it turning into a conflict? Let's go back to 1 Peter 3:15. Do this with gentleness and respect. We're supposed to be gentle like physicians, not brutal like butchers. And your argument can be right, but your motives can be dead wrong. And why you're doing something will affect how you do something.